Another top contender for the Queen of Hearts title is Denmark's Crown Princess Mary. The photogenic wife of the heir to the Danish throne and mother to Prince Christian and Princess Isabella has helped promote the profile of Denmark's royals, which in turn has boosted tourism in the country's capital of Copenhagen. While she may not quite fit the mould of a Cinderella, Mary's rise from simple Australian country girl to beautiful crown princess does indeed read like a fairy tale. And since marrying her handsome prince and moving into the Fredensborg Palace, she has become the idol of every young girl who dreams of becoming a princess. She began life as plain old Mary Donaldson in the former penal colony of Hobart on the island of Tasmania in 1973. She grew up loving the outdoor life and riding horses. Upon graduating from university, she began a career in advertising in Melbourne. But after her mother died in 1997, she left her job to travel before settling down in Sydney, where she became a real estate agent. She and Prince Frederick first bumped into each other at a bar called the Slip Inn during the Sydney 2000 Olympics. Out socialising with separate groups of friends, they got talking, and without knowing exactly who he was, Mary slipped him her phone number, and so began the romance. Their long-distance courtship continued secretly until Mary moved to Denmark in 2002 and began taking lessons in Danish language, history and etiquette. Finally, the Danish court announced that Frederick's mother, Queen Margrethe, intended to give her consent to the marriage, and in October 2003, they became officially engaged. Australia was overjoyed at the prospect of having its very own princess, and the people of Denmark warmed to her charm and beauty immediately. In fact, a poll found that 75% of Danes believed that she would make a good queen, and the couple looked truly in love. Mary's last evening as a commoner was marked with a grand gala that drew royal guests from around the world and helped prepare her for the onslaught of official engagements that awaited her as a princess. Braving a chilly Scandinavian wind, the star of the show was the radiant bride-to-be, elegantly dressed in a low-cut red gown. If she was nervous about the day to come, it didn't show as she smiled and waved to the crowds. That grace and composure carried her through the much-hyped wedding with the eyes of the world upon her. In fact, while she stayed calm and collected, it was Frederick who seemed overwhelmed by the emotion of the day as he wiped away a tear. The sensitive prince was just as demonstrative as he excitedly greeted the media after the birth of the couple's son and heir in October 2005.
Of course, it's tremendous joy. It's sort of a warmth coming up from deep within. You discover new sides of warmth and love, and just slowly trying to realize what was just happening 8 hours ago, a little bit less than 8 hours ago.
A few days later, the new Prince Christian made his first public appearance in the arms of his mother, who practiced her Danish.
I'm feeling absolutely wonderful.
2 years later, Christian was joined by a baby sister, Isabella Henrietta. Becoming fluent in the Danish language has allowed the princess to involve herself in a raft of local charitable ventures. She has been a leading light in the campaign to improve disadvantaged migrant areas of Copenhagen, as well as becoming involved in a new campaign to raise awareness about skin cancer through the Danish Cancer Society. It's also no surprise to learn that the impeccably dressed Princess Mary is an active patron of Denmark's third highest earning export, the fashion industry. One of the perks of that plum roll is a guaranteed front row seat at all the local fashion events. No doubt it also helps her keep up with the pressure of putting together the perfect haute couture outfit for that next red carpet event. Over in Spain, Princess Latizia has also become a major style icon. Like Princess Mary of Denmark, The former newsreader had no aristocratic connections before marrying into the royal Asturias family. She was born Letizia Ortiz in Oviedo, Spain in 1972, the daughter of a journalist and a registered nurse. After completing a bachelor's degree, she followed her father into the newspaper business and worked her way into television to become the anchorwoman of the most viewed newscast in Spain. Having become a celebrity in her own right, there was no need to win over the public as Prince Felipe's intended bride. Still, the announcement of their engagement came as quite a shock to the Spanish people, who'd been completely blindsided by the royal romance.
Entiendo la sorpresa que ha causado esta decisión a casi todos.
I understand that it must be a big surprise for everyone.
Reflexiones muy intensas y sobre todo.
But it hasn't been a quick decision.
Peso y la solidez del.
It's been based on the great love that we feel for each other.
However, there was still the matter of Letizia's previous marriage to her high school literature teacher to contend with. Thankfully, the Roman Catholic Church found a loophole to allow the marriage. But 2 months after their official engagement came the claim by Cuban artist Waldo Saavedra that the artwork on a new album by Spanish singer Mana was a nude study of the future Spanish crown princess. Scandal was averted when he clarified that Letizia had not posed nude, but had simply given him a photograph of herself in which she was fully clothed and that he'd used his imagination to paint her naked. And on the 22nd of May 2004, the cathedral in Madrid became a mecca for royal guests and dignitaries the world over as a nervous Prince Felipe awaited the arrival of his stunning bride. The pouring rain did nothing to dampen the enthusiasm of the waiting crowd as Letizia began the daunting walk down the aisle on the arm of her father. The picture-perfect couple's moving vows were broadcast to the nation and witnessed on huge screens outside the cathedral.
En la prosperidad y en la adversidad, en la salud y en la enfermedad, todos los días de mi vida.
Padre, del Hijo.
As the ceremony ended, cheers rang out in the square. Since then, Princess Letizia has been featured heavily in the glossy magazines of Europe and is frequently praised by fashion critics for her impeccable taste in clothes. She also has her own fan club, with websites dedicated to gathering photos and updates on the Queen of Spanish style. Her waif-like figure and chiseled cheeks have led to speculation that she may have an eating disorder. But despite her fragile frame, she has given birth to 2 healthy daughters, Leonor and Sofia. And although the current Spanish law of succession would hand a potential younger brother the throne over his older sisters, it is possible that the law could be changed to make Leonor the heir apparent.